Hello everyone, this is Rig. Welcome to another episode of the Mauryan Empire series. And today we are going to talk about why the Mauryan Empire declined, what are the causes for its failure, and why it couldn't continue as it did after the death of Emperor Ashok. So, without doing any delay, let's get into details. Decline of the Mauryan Empire. When did it start? The decline of the Mauryan Empire began after the death of Ashok in 232 BC and culminated with the assassination of Brihadatta in 187 BC. So from 232 to 187 BC, roughly 50 years, it took for the Mauryan Empire to be completely in a decline state, and Pushyamitra Sunga was the ruler who killed Brihadatta and ascended the Magad throne of Magadhan Empire in 187 BC. It covered vast regions including Magad, parts of modern day India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Afghanistan. So, this is one of the largest empires in the whole of Asian continent. And the regions which it covered are Magad, where was the capital of Mauryan Empire, parts of modern day India, every whole of northern and central India was almost under Mauryan conquest, and also it included the area of modern Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Afghanistan. Primary sources include the Puranas, Vishnu Purana, Vayu Purana, Divyavadhana, Rajatarangini, the accounts by historians like Taranath and Kalhan. So these are the sources from where we come to know in great detail about why did the Mauryan Empire declined. Post Ashok era marked by political fragmentation and weakened central authority. So after the rule of Emperor Ashok, there was political fragmentation within the empire, and also there was no proper central authority. It was very weak. The control of center over its provinces was very much weak, and that is why it is said to have declined. Understanding the decline provides insight into the socio political and economic factors that led to the fragmentation of a large empire. Now, political fragmentation and succession issues. This is one of the major cause for decline of Mauryan Empire. Conflicting accounts on Ashoka's successors. Main candidates include Kunal, Sampadi, Dasarath, and Brihadratha. So these are the four main rulers who ruled after Ashok. Even though there is conflicting account regarding who came before whom, who was whose son or brother, all these things are very much contradictory to each other from different sources. However, Kunal, Sampadi, Dasarath, and Brihadratha are the four main emperors who came to rule the throne of Mauryan Empire after Ashok. Variations in Vishnu Purana, Matsya Purana, Vayu Puran, and Jain texts regarding this succession. So there are variations in the sources, so none of these sources can be trusted completely because different sources give different accounts about who succeeded after Ashok. Kunal ruled for 8 years. Sampadi is mentioned in Divyavadana, and Brihadatta is the last Mauryan king. So, this much is confirmed that there was a ruler named Kunal who ruled for 8 years, and also there was someone called Sampadi, and Brihadatta is the last Mauryan king who was killed by Pushyamitra Sunga. Regional governors and local rulers gained power, reducing the central control. So when the control of the center is not that much efficient over the provinces, then regional governors or the provincial rulers will try to get independence, and that is what happened during the decline. Lack of a strong central ruler led to administrative inefficiencies and power struggles. So there was no strong central ruler, and that is why administration was not being managed properly. Now, revolt of the Brahmanas. Ashok, as we know, was very much inclined to the discipline and principles of Buddhism. That was not liked by Brahmanas at the time. Hari Prasad Shastri's view argues the revolt of Brahmanas against Ashok's policies sapped the foundation of the empire. So, the Brahmanas revolted against the religious policies of Mauryan Emperor Ashok, and therefore there was a steady decline of the Mauryan Empire. Ashoka's edicts against animal sacrifices offend the Brahmanical class. So, in the Brahmanical religion during the later Vedic time, sacrificial rituals was one of the most significant and important event. One of the most important religious function of the Brahmanas were to conduct sacrificial ceremonies. Hence, when Ashok said that there will be no animal sacrifices, it is quite obvious that the Brahmanical class will not like it. Appointment of officers to enforce moral edicts seen as an intrusion on Brahmanical privileges. So, all the laws at that point of time and all the governing duties were mainly done by Brahmanas. However, Ashok appointed officers called Dharma Mahamatras who were to see whether the path of righteousness is being followed throughout his empire or not, and that intrusion was not liked by the Brahmanical class. Pushyamitra Sunga, he led a successful revolt indicating Brahmanical dissatisfaction. So, Pushyamitra Sunga was the ruler who killed Emperor Brihadatta, the last Mauryan emperor, and established his own rule. And that can be seen as indication of how dissatisfied the Brahmanas were after Ashok implemented many disciplines from his policy of personal Buddhism. Harshacharita by Banavatta and other ancient texts document this tension. So, in Harshacharita, which has been written almost about 700 years later by Banavatta, they also mention this significant event where Brahmanas did not like the policies of Emperor Ashoka. Now, administrative and economic factors. What were the administrative things? What were the administrative mismanagements which led to the decline of Mauryan Empire? Large bureaucracy. Pre-Ashokan bureaucracy was very large and costly. Ashok's expansion added to this burden. So, already to maintain a big state as big as the Empire, the management needed a large and proper functioning bureaucracy that was very much costly to maintain all the government officials was very much costly. However, Ashok implemented the Dhamma Mahamatyas, which were much more costly. Hence, the burden of cost was increased at the time of Emperor Ashok. Ashok's charitable works, while nobles, trained the state. So, he did many charitable works. He used to donate a lot of wealth. It may seem theoretically as a very good principle, but it burdened the treasury of the empire even more than what it was there in previous during the time of Chandragupta or Bindusar. Large scale land clearing for agriculture led to environmental degradation. So there was large scale land clearing, especially in the lower Ganga valley, and that led to suffering of the environmental systems. Debasement of currency indicated a depleted treasury and weakened state finances. So Ashok was very much noble in his intentions, but that was not at all practical considering the fact that treasury was already burdened with bureaucracy. Scholars like R.C. Majumdar highlight these economic strengths as a cause for decline. So, Ramesh Chandra Majumdar, one of the most eminent nationalist historians, he has noted that the noble principles of Emperor Ashok is what led to economic decline of the Mauryan Empire. Now, military decline. Military, as we have seen at the time of Chandragupta Maurya, it was the most powerful asset of the empire. But after Ashok, especially his too much focus on pacifistic policies, led to military decline. Ashok's pacifism, abandonment of aggressive military policies, weakened the army. So Ashok kept the army only for security purposes. They did not fight any major wars after the War of Kaling, and therefore there was a degradation in the capability of military in the Mauryan Empire. Use of army. Post Kalinga, army was largely ceremonial, reducing military readiness. So, army was just an honorary or ceremonial branch of government, because after Kaling War, army was not needed according to Emperor Ashok, and that is what reduced the capability or successful nature of the army. Greek invasions. Accounts of Polybius and Kalidas indicate northern invasions weakened the empire. So, from the time of Alexander, there was a Greek policy of annexation in Central Asia, and that couldn't be possible at the time of Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusar, or Ashok. But after the death of Ashok, there was Greek invasions in the northwestern part of Indian subcontinent. Northern provinces like Gandhar was lost to Greeks and other invaders. So slowly, as the military power declined in the Mauryan Empire, it was quite evident that Gandhar and other northern provinces went under the control of Greek rule. Continuous invasions and lack of military upkeep eroded the defensive capabilities of the Mauryan Empire. Internal revolts and regional uprisings. So it was not only that there was failure of administration, or there was Brahmanical revolt, there was certain other internal revolts also, which led to the decline of empire. Taxila revolt, discontent among the people due to oppressive Mauryan officials, led to uprising. So there was a dissatisfaction among the people of the Mauryan rule, and that led to official uprisings, especially in the province of Taxila. Taxila is in the northwestern part of Mauryan Empire, and that was always a field of revolt from the time of Emperor Bindusar. And Ashok once could quell that revolt, but after the death of Ashok, again there was multiple revolts in throughout the empire, especially in Taxila. Resistance continued despite Ashok's earlier conquest. So in Kaling, Ashok had conquered it with his highly active military capability. But even after conquest, there was resistance from the people of Kaling. Successful revolt by the Andhras also weakened the empire further. So we see three main revolts: Taxila, Kaling, and Andhra revolt. All this have been accounted by Dr. H.C. Raichaudhuri and other historians, and they highlight these revolts as a cause of decline of the empire. These revolts fractured the authority, leading to empire's decline. Now, weak successors and lack of leadership. After Emperor Ashok, there was not much of a good, capable emperor. Kunal's rule, limited by blindness, heavily reliant on his son Sampati. So Kunal was a blind emperor, and he was very much reliant on his son Sampati for the governance of the Mauryan Empire. And as we can understand that if a person is physically challenged, he may not have been as much of a good ruler as it was required at that point of time. Now, Dasharath's short reign, followed by weak rulers, leading to administrative inefficiency. So, even though Emperor Dasharath was considered to be a capable emperor, but his reign was very much short. Hence, he couldn't manage the empire in a very short period of time. Brihadatta's assassination was of the final blow to the Mauryan Empire, and that happened when Pushyamitra Sunga rose to revolt against the Mauryan Emperor Brihadatta, and Brihadatta was assassinated, and that marked the end of Mauryan lineage. The sources like Vayu Puran and Jain texts document all these transitions. However, in all the sources, there is contradictory opinion regarding who succeeded whom. Scholars like Dr. R.K. Mukherjee criticize the weak leadership post Ashok. So, according to Dr. R.K. Mukherjee, it was the rule of weak successors which led to the decline of Mughal empire. Economic decline and administrative inefficiencies. There was a total decline in trade and administration. Agricultural strain, large scale deforestation for agriculture led to environmental damage. There was deforestation for agricultural lands, especially in the lower Ganga Valley, and that led to environmental damage. Excessive taxation. The empire, to sustain its resources and to manage the geographical area, uh, demanded excessive tax from the common people, and that was to maintain the bureaucracy and army, and that led to dissatisfaction among the citizens of Mauryan Empire. Currency debasement was indicative of financial mismanagement and economic decline. There was huge corruption in the administration. All the officials used to take bribe at the last stage of Mauryan Empire, and that led to increased corruption and inefficiency in the local governance. The economic data from ancient text and modern interpretations highlight all these issues. So there was a massive economic decline along with administrative failures. Now, social and religious factors. What were the main social problems and how did it involve religious factors also? Ashok's policies was pro-Buddhism and that alienated other religious groups. Even though Ashok claimed that he was very tolerant, but but that was not practical. His pro-Buddhist policies in an area where there is Brahmanical majority alienated the majority of the population from his rule. Brahmanical opposition was the result of Pushyamitra's revolt as a reaction to Ashok's religious policies. So, Pushyamitra Sunga was a ruler who did not like the pro Buddhist policies of Ashok, and thus he rose into revolt and defeated or killed, assassinated Emperor Brihadatta, who was the last Mauryan ruler. Social reforms like Ashok's attempts at social reforms met with resistance from traditionalists. So Ashok wanted to progress a lot in a very short period of time, and that progressive approach was not favored from the conservative traditionalists. Dharma Mahamatya's role, their enforcement of moral laws was seen as intrusive. People did not like some other person to get involved in their life and direct them regarding righteousness. So, Dharma Mahamatyas were not totally accepted by people as it was hoped by Emperor Ashok. Mixed views on the impact of Ashok's social and religious policies. So, even though the social and religious policies were very much theoretically good by Emperor Ashok, but it was not practically well received by the Indian population at that point of time. External invasions and pressure. So this North Indian part of Indian subcontinent was also under different external invasions. Greek invasions were recorded by accounts of Kalidas and Polybius and other sources also that detail a Greek pressure. So even though Chandragupta Maurya defeated the general of Alexander Seleucus, but still there was a Greek presence in the northwestern and central part of Asia. Therefore, there was always a security threat from the side of Hellenistic empires. Loss of northern provinces. Gandhar and other areas were lost to Greek control because of invasions, and thus we come to understand that Mauryans had declined in their military capabilities. Taranath's account detail invasions and territorial losses in Kashmir and beyond. So, from the area of Kashmir and Gandhar, the Mauryan emperor's control became non-existent, and that has been detailed in different historians' account, especially accounts of Taranath. Suvasena's rule, indicative of weakened Mauryan control in the northern provinces. So, Suvasena was a Mauryan emperor, and during his time, the control over northern provinces was almost not there. External pressures compounded internal weaknesses, accelerating the decline. So, the decline was a result of both external invasions and internal weaknesses. Decline in the central authority. The central authority or the leadership factor from the Mauryan Empire was almost gone. Fragmentation of power. Regional governors gained autonomy, reducing central control. So, the central control was weak, therefore, the regional governors declared themselves as independent. Or the different thing could also have happened, that is, since the provincial governors became more powerful, that's why the central authority became weak. Both could have happened depending on the sources we read. There was succession issues. Frequent changes in rulers weakened the central authority. There was no fixed rule of succession even after Emperor Ashok. Therefore, frequent changes in rulers were there, where brothers killed brothers or son killed fathers. All these things can be seen in a limited amount. Even though in a limited amount, it can be seen in the power structure or power hierarchy of the Mauryan Empire, and that was what resulted in the decline of central authority. There was administrative challenges like inefficiencies and corruption. It was very much evident that the whole bureaucracy became very much corrupted. Loss of military control led to the regional armies and local rulers gaining more strength. So there was no centralized army, and even if there was any centralized army, it was just ceremonial. Divyavadana, Rajatarangini, and other texts highlight these administrative issues. Now, conclusion and historical significance. What are the things we have learned from this presentation? Summary of the causes. There was no single cause because of which the Mauryan Empire declined. It was a result of political, economic, social, and external factors. The key figures and events include highlighting the roles of Ashok, Pushyamitra, and others. Fragmentation led to the rise of regional powers like Shungas and Satavahanas. So, these are the regional powers which ruled the Indian subcontinent majorly after the decline of Mauryan Empire. There are different perspectives from historians like Dr. R.C. Majumdar, Professor Nilakantha Shastri, and others. Understanding the decline of Mauryan Empire provides insight into the complexities of managing a vast empire. So, what are the problems faced by the people when a vast empire is not being managed properly? That can be understood from the management of Mauryan Empire. So that was all about the decline of Empire. Please go through the other videos. I have discussed about almost each and every aspect of Mauryan Empire, and these videos will help you to understand things in great depth, and you can use it also for different kinds of exams related to ancient Indian history. Hope you have liked it, and we have seen how the pacifist policies of the greatest emperor in the Mauryan Empire led to its decline. So that was all for today. Thank you so much, and with your support I hope to bring brighter contents in future. Thank you for your love and support.